Hello world, welcome to the 259th Climate Change Emergency Protest here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It is November 9th, 2023. Next week will be November 17th for the 260th Climate Change Emergency Protest. This should have stopped a long time ago and everything should be well in hand. We should have had leaders that actually took charge as to what's going on and weren't greedy son of a you-know-what. But that's what we got. You get what you vote for, and you deserve what you deserve what you get, and you get what you deserve, and that's where we're headed right now concerning climate change. I'll talk about that in a second here. Let's see. Last July was the hottest day ever in 125,000 years. They estimate. That's since Homo sapiens have come on the scene, basically, and done anything. July was also the hottest month ever at that point, the hottest July ever. Last August was the hottest August ever. September was the largest anomaly difference between previous anomalies for September, meaning the difference in anomalies out of sync with previous Septembers. It was the largest gap ever, and it was also the hottest September ever. October, that just passed, was also the hottest October ever. So you're getting a pattern here. We're in deep trouble, and no one recognizes it. Everyone's fighting each other and arguing about, in this country, Trump versus Biden, and who's not going to the debates. Well, neither of them are going to debates. And if you think the Democrat Party is being democratic, they're not. There's no debate at all. And you wouldn't want Joe Biden up on stage versus a person that can actually put together coherent sentences. And Donald Trump's not showing up to his debates because he feels it's in the bag already. So this is, you get what you deserve, and you deserve what you get. Earth is the hottest 12 months in the last 125 years. The last 12 months, including October 2022, not October 2023, have been the hottest 12 months ever in human history. We're 1.4 degrees above the 1880 baseline, which is cooking the books. The reality of it all is we're 1.7 above the 1750 baseline, year 1750. They have a target of 1.5 degrees, trying to hold temperatures below that, which is just tongue-in-cheek. They're not serious about it. But anyways, if you use the 1880 baseline, we're at 1.4 degrees. 1.5 degrees is untenable. We're going to blow through that, blow through 2 degrees, and head our way up to 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees. The COP28 conference is coming up in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. That's the end of November and December, beginning of December. That's where all the countries get together and talk about climate change and how to deal with it and how to fix it, everything. The problem is Dubai is an oil producing nation, as is the United States and most of the other big nations. The person in charge is actually the chief executive officer for the 11th largest oil and gas company in the world. So this is like putting Hitler in charge of talking about how to help out the Jews for the concentration camps, or any other, talking to the foxes how to handle the chickens and make them safe in the hen house. This guy's the 11th president of the 11th largest oil and gas producer in the world. So this is ludicrous what's going on. The oceans. The oceans are turning greener. Satellite images for the last 20 years are showing that. And I say, this is my own theories with this, and this might sound controversial to a lot of you, and like, what is he talking about? But you get less oxygen as the oceans heat up, and also the oceans are slowing down due to ice melt in Greenland and the Antarctica. So you end up with less oxygen in the oceans. You get more algae when the oceans slow down. Okay, the currents are slowing down, and you get more algae buildup, which is phytoplanktons. In this case, these phytoplanktons are not good ones that are building up in the oceans. My theory is they're more algae related. Everything's off sync. And what happens is then you end up with fish kills. You have massive die-offs due to the slowing of the oceans, less oxygen, and the heating of the oceans. What happens after that is when animal life starts dying off, as will these phytoplankton, they're going to sink to the bottom of the ocean. And this is the beginning of the hydrogen sulfide cycle. And what happens is that in the previous 4 of the last 5 extinction events, hydrogen sulfide has contributed severely into mass die-offs and causing the mass extinctions, venting off from the bottom of the oceans coming up. And we're seeing that in some places where there are fish kills, oxygen depleted, various things, chemicals. We're just killing everything off we can, overfishing, things like that. And what this hydrogen sulfide issue, is the beginning of a major flag that we're severely entering into the event horizon and into the black hole itself of the extinction event. Hydrogen sulfide, as I said, has been involved in the venting off of hydrogen sulfide gas. Venting off of 4 of the last 5 extinctions, I think, is a permanent extinction where 95% of sea life died and 70% of all terrestrial life died. So this is not a good event that's happening. There is no good news right now. And the reason there is no good news is we have greedy, corrupted leaders all the way from the top all the way down through the government systems, not just here in the United States, but also around the world. No one's fighting climate change at all. Right now we're having 1,000 to 10,000 more, 10,000 times more the normal extinction rate. You'd expect so many extinctions per 100 years and everything. We're going at a pace that is 1,000 times to 10,000 times that pace that would you normally expect of extinctions. So this proves we're into the 6th mass extinction now. Whether we can get out of it, I severely doubt it, because you deserve what you get, and you get what you deserve. You keep voting the same, you get the same. There's no stopping the West Antarctic ice sheet from failing, and that represents 10 feet, which is 3.3 meters of sea level rise. The Earth energy imbalance, the sunlight coming in versus the heat vented off from that, is out of balance with everything going on. I think it's 2 meters per watt squared or whatever it is. It's the imbalance. Basically what it comes down to is we're taking in more heat and we're not venting off the heat. So eventually you have a heat buildup, and which also leads to the runaway greenhouse effect due to too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and heat can't get vented off into space. 15 cargo ships that bring our supplies, our frivolity from around the world, 15 ships burn more oil and gas than all the world cars combined. So 15 ships burn more oil, diesel, whatever it is, than all the other cars in the world combined. And the sad part is there are 90,000 cargo ships out there, differing size, but the 15 largest ones are heinous, and that, no less heinous than the other 85,000 or 95,000 or whatever it is. But there are 90,000 cargo ships out there bringing supplies around the world, and the problem with that is they contribute massive amounts of sulfur into the atmosphere, sulfur dioxide, and that is an aerosol masking effect. But what happens is as it gets cleaned up, then more sunlight will strike the oceans, resulting into more heat imbalance that I was talking about a second ago. Let's see. So as I said, 90,000 vessels are out there, which represents 90% of the world's trade. If the shipping vessels were a country, it'd be number 6 in the world as far as the country goes. So all these vessels add up to number 6 in the world as far as contributor of greenhouse gases. Right now, the U.S. military represents 5.5% of all greenhouse gas emissions around the world. The Israeli-USA conflict, and I'm saying USA because we're backing up Israel to the hilt on this massacre going on in Gaza, this war crime going on. And USA is wholly responsible for this. They're saying Israel, go for it. They're saying, no, we need to pause, things like that. Utter poppycock. They're behind Israel to just massacre the Palestinians and ship them either to Sinai or kill them all in order to get to a couple thousand Hamas fighters. This is absolute war crime. You're not allowed to kill thousands of people to get at one person, and that's what it's amounting to. So far, closing in on 10,000 dead, or 11,000 dead. Sorry, they passed 10,000 already. 11,000 dead civilians. These are civilians. These are people like you and me. 4,000 of those plus are children. And the real question would be, okay, if this is a just cause, if the situation was reversed and the Palestinians had the Israelis cordoned off into an open-air prison, and then the Palestinians went in there with an army and were bombing the crap out of the Jewish people there, or the Israelis. Not all Israelis are Jewish. But if you cornered them off and put them in an open-air prison and started massacring just to get at a few Jewish Zionists, in the long run, would that be okay? Would it be okay to kill 11,000 Israelis? Probably not. The world would be upset by that, or at least the Israelis would be upset by that, and saying, hey, we're being massacred and no one really cares. So if it's not right one way, it's not right the other way. That's my point with everything. Same thing as January 6th. If Biden gets voted out of office and he says, I'm not going, and then a bunch of people attack the Capitol and try to overthrow the election, is that okay? Obviously not. So obviously the other way wasn't right either. So it's called treason. You know, so these are the things you got to ask both ways. If it's okay one way, it's got to be okay the other way. No focus on climate change. Leaders have absolutely no focus on climate change, what's going on. In fact, they're doing heinous other things. Every big country is doing terrible things right now, and they're not focused on fixing the issue, and there's no intent on it. We're going to die. That's the way it is. Your kids are going to die. I'm going to probably die of climate change in some way, and as everyone here listening will probably die. James Hansen, a world-renowned NASA scientist, also climate change activist and scientist in general, he predicts in his recent paper that we're going to go through 3.6 degrees to a 6-degree rise in temperatures. I think that's probably conservative. He's probably being spot on, but I think as being conservative, I'm predicting 10, 12, but we won't be around to recognize it, you know, to see what happens. No one will be here by then. NBC News was praising Paradise, California, and how resilient they are and coming back to life after they burned down 5 years ago. And the citizens are moving back in and building houses and things like that. And they're opening wider streets. And the thing about it is they cut down 200,000 trees to make their areas safer from wildfires. We needed those trees, okay? The answer is not to move back into a situation that's going to put you in peril. These are examples where you deserve what you get what you deserve. You tear down 200,000 trees, there's less trees available to pull carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, cause more global warming. Paradise is going to get hit again. In one way or the other, they're going to get hit again, choked off, or just total drought. Humanoids, 900,000 years ago, they were down to 600 pairs of males and females that were available to procreate. There was a bottleneck, and they got down to the last 600 pairs of people in the whole of humanoid type people. We wouldn't be here if that die-off had completed itself and it's total extinction. This time around, I'm not sure we're going to have anyone left concerning the ability to reproduce or not. We'll leave that up to history as to what happens, but we won't be here to see what happens. So the only thing that survived the last 5 mass extinction events have been tardigrades. And somehow they're really interesting creatures to look at if you look at the internet. So tardigrades have survived the last 5 mass extinctions. Humans will not survive that. We're very fragile. We have a very small range we can live in, with heat intolerance and cold intolerance. We can't do with that. We can't starve to death. We can't dehydrate. Tardigrades can. And the thing about it is, we aren't tardigrades. That's the whole crux of the whole thing. So unless we get things under control here, this is getting worse and worse and worse. And the greening of the oceans is one mass example of things are going horribly wrong, and people don't understand that and won't understand that because they watch the 3 news networks plus Fox Television here in this country. There's no talk about climate change. We know of nobody around that will even begin to talk about climate change with us, whether it's friends, family, whoever. So this is the path we're on. You deserve what you get, and you get what you deserve as to where we're heading. Just like this battle, no one said, don't do this attack for the South. It's going to end up in utter destruction. And what happened? Nobody listened, which was a good thing in this case. See ya.